one man, one van, and two cats. Pure awesomeness. I also travel with my two partners who each have their own cat. We're full-time nomads and travel all over the country. Check out my adventures with my crew of felines and humans as we live rent-free, explore, and generally just have a great time. You're invited. I hope you come along because you're guaranteed to enjoy the ride. So sit back, hang tight, and don't forget to buckle up. What's going on, guys? It's Kai again. I'm back. Took a week off from making videos because me and the girls had just a lot kind of on our plate. But, you know, found the time now to sit down and have a one-on-one, heart-to-heart with you guys. I'm just kidding. This is actually a very light and frothy video. Today's video is going to be about the different extremes or the polarization between people that kind of are like afraid of van life or have maybe a negative view of it when they see it versus those that have a really positive reaction and really seem to love it and give a lot of compliments and stuff. So I'm actually going to do a little bit of like a show and tell. I'm going to show y'all some of the actually really awesome notes I've gotten in the last like about 2 weeks. 3 notes. I'm making sure I'm counting right. Yeah, gotten 3 different notes on my van. And every time I was like, uh-oh, what's this going to be? Is this bad? And they're actually just really upbeat and really positive notes, a lot of love. And it's really awesome. Also, on a side note, this is like maybe 45 minutes ago, an hour ago, me and the girls were at an international food market. And speaking of awesome reactions, literally had somebody, really awesome guy. By the way, my friend, if you're watching, I forgot to ask your name. I wasn't able to grab that. We had, I know, a pretty quick interaction. But a really awesome guy from Afghanistan. He came up to me and us, and we were actually just chatting outside of our vehicles, and was very complimentary, really friendly. He said he loves what we have going on here. He's like, this is the epitome of awesome. I can't say enough good things. He just said it looks so cool, and you guys are so cool. And we're sort of on the same page as far as you and me. I mean, my unnamed friend, maybe you can leave me a comment if you are watching this, and you can say, hey, but you and I have the same kind of view. You were commenting on how other people just have the shiny cars and they have to have a certain look to their vehicles. And I'm on the same page with you, man. It really means nothing. I'll be honest with you. And all you watching, having a really nice car, trying to feel like fancy and stuff like that. I mean, if you think about it, it really doesn't mean anything. Live your life to the fullest and the freest. And before I get on a whole spiel about that, I'll just move forward. But anyway, dude, you were really cool. Thanks. You said that you have kind of heard about the hippie way of life. I'm definitely a hippie at heart in a lot of ways. And you and your friend, I didn't get his name either, in your friend's car, were really cool. And they actually gave all of us one of these like energy drinks that they drink a lot in Afghanistan. I thought that was really cool. I'm not familiar with it, but it's pretty cool. Energy drink. So thanks. It's like a novelty item. I probably will never drink it just to keep it out of sheer coolness. But yeah, guys. So back to the point of the video is, what are the extremes? You know, I mean, not what's up with, I should say, the extremes. A lot of people are very fearful or very judgmental. You know, when they see our vehicles, they see us, and they are immediately thinking, which I've already kind of covered in a different video. If you go, I think two videos back in mine, maybe 3. I have a video on, you know, voluntary van life versus, you know, involuntary vehicular homelessness. And I cover, you know, there's a major difference. So a lot of people, especially as of lately, have been really coming up to me or leaving notes and being like, hey, such a cool van. Where are you traveling from? Where are you going to? I mean, if I were to count all the in-person interactions too, I don't even know the count. There's maybe 10 or something. But in the video here today, I'm going to show you guys some of the notes I've gotten from a lot of you really awesome people out there. And I love all the love, you know, it's really great. So I just want to show you guys these cool notes and talk about, you know, maybe some of the instances where people were a little more unsure about me and my partners and our vehicles. And they're like, whoa. There's especially one story in particular that's hilarious. And can't wait to tell you all about that. But anyway, Soji, my van, is pretty eccentric, as you can see from the inside. On the outside, she just gets more and more eccentric. That's how I've always been with my vans. The longer I have the vehicle, the more eccentric it looks on the outside. And going back to my Afghan friend, you mentioned that it's like my van looks like a museum on the outside. I think were your exact words. And I love that. I personally love that. There's actually one of our favorite places ever is in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's called City Museum. Maybe some of you in the audience that are watching, maybe you're aware of that place, but it's so great. It's so cool. It's like this, think of like a work of art or like a maze of art and sculptures in a multi-story tall building. So basically everywhere you look, there's something interesting and captivating, and it's very artsy and eclectic and eccentric, right up my alley. Chloe and I, actually before we met Coda, we spent a good deal of time in St. Louis, and we actually got a season pass to City Museum because it's that fun, and we just loved it. So anyhow, maybe I'll throw some images of City Museum up on the screen here while I'm talking. You can also go to Google Maps and look it up. Just literally City Museum in St. Louis, Missouri. It's so cool. It's so cool. Anyway, I love that my van kind of looks like that on the outside. It looks like you grabbed it out of City Museum and put it, on the road, on the street, and started driving. So, maybe I'll even give City Museum some credit for how, Sojourner looks. That being said, I've always been this eccentric. I've always loved stuff like that. 2 apartments ago, before I started doing Vanlife, this is actually a studio apartment. It was covered wall to wall, corner to corner, all posters and other randomness and art. So that's how I like it. But anyway, so some people see the work of art on wheels and they don't see a work of art. They see like, what the F is this? You know what I mean? Like, ew, get this out of my sight. Yeah, that's an eyesore. Absolutely. I totally get it. If any of you are watching, I totally get it. Some people have different tastes. I understand. But I'm kind of teasing that whole way of looking at it because, as I mentioned in the former video about voluntary van life versus, involuntary vehicular homelessness, those that are involuntarily, not by choice, homeless in their vehicle, usually, they're not trying to make their vehicle look like a work of art, not to say that mine is the Picasso of all vans. I'm sure there's a million times more awesome vans out there, not to mention schoolies, which is like a school bus you convert into a van life situation or a bus life situation. We call them schoolies. I've seen some really awesome, really crazy awesome ones, that they really go all out on the art. Well, I should say on the artistic factor of the van or the bus. Some of you too, who like the whole artistic van approach, if you want to call it that, it's really freedom of expression, self-expression. We gotta love our free speech, right? Free speech is where it's at. One of the best things about the country is free speech, right? Let's keep the free speech always going. Freedom of expression. Love that. Right up my alley. So anyway, so those of you who love that sort of thing, maybe a potential van lifer making the change into van life right now, or a current van lifer, if you haven't been to Quartzsite, Arizona, go there. People go there in the winter. And this is just a small taste about Quartzsite. I'm going to make a whole video about it, probably more than a whole video about it, maybe a few videos in the future. But for now, I'll just mention that Quartzsite is incredible. You see a lot of really eccentric rigs there too. Definitely, so there's some festivals there. There's some shows, like there's like a gem show, RV show, etc. There's an arts and crafts show. So look into it and look for, probably here soon, I'm going to be making some Quartzsite videos. Anyway, so yeah, that's right up my alley. I really love eccentric. I love artsy. I love outside the box. And Soji is exactly that. Look for, I keep saying this, I know I'm guilty of that, but look for a full van tour coming soon. I'll show Soji in detail from the outside and the inside. So yeah, back to the main kind of thing here I wanted to show y'all are some of these awesome notes I've gotten, and I'll show these up close too. But so there's actually 3 in the last 2 weeks, like I mentioned, that I got. This one was first. It's a little bitty sticky note, and I'll show this one up close here in a second. And we've got a larger note that was on my windshield. Actually, these last two were on my windshield, and I was at first kind of like, you're kind of skeptical, you're kind of unsure, like, is this something bad or is this something good, And then this one actually was on my ladder, my DIY ladder I have on Soji. So cool, whole this is like some thick paper too. It's like art sketching paper. So anyway, guys, so yeah, I want to show y'all those, but before I get to how awesome some people think what we do is, our way of life is, van life is, my van is, etc. Some people love it, and we love you guys back too. That's so cool, and thank you again for the positive words, the positive vibes. I can't tell you guys how much it means for us, because a lot of people do have not so much the positive interpretation. So I want to tell you one story in particular. This was, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago. Me and my partners, Coda and Chloe, we were at Planet Fitness. And it was the craziest thing, because I had come outside back to Soji for something, and which I do a lot. And Coda was meeting up with us there. So she arrived. And as she pulled in, I left Soji and I walked over to Coda in her car, and we were chatting. And it's already at this point dark. We were there kind of like a later time at the gym. We usually kind of work out earlier, but it was at night this time. And I'm chatting with Coda. And so my van Soji just appears to be like no one's, there. All the doors were shut. The windows are rolled up. So the guess would be that the occupant is either in the van or inside the gym, but not like standing outside of the van, if that makes sense. And I'm chatting with Coda at her window, and I see this soccer mom looking, kind of Karen-y looking lady. I'm just trying to give you an accurate description. I'm not trying to be mean. But, she looked like what you would call a Karen, a lady in her 40s or 50s. And she's walking out, and I notice she's walking with a male employee. And I'm like, oh, I don't really think much of it. I'm just like, oh, I happen to look up and kind of notice, like, oh. But anyway, I keep chatting with Coda, and I overhear her say, as they walk past us, so they're like on this side, and they walk past and by me, I hear her tell the employee something, yeah, and I just don't know if anyone's in there or what. So anyway, I really appreciate it. And I hear that, I'm like, and she kind of looked back at Soji, and I'm like, huh. So I hear them get to a car, and I hear them say something like bye, and then I see the employee, which is on a side note male, and he's really tall on a side note. He walks back into the gym, and I see this whole interaction, and I tell Coda, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong, but I think somebody just asked a gym employee, a gym staff member, to walk them out as an escort through the parking lot because they were afraid of Sojourner. And Coda's like, oh, wow, that's crazy, really? So we go back in the gym because Coda's now here, and, I had to go out for a second, so we both go in. And I actually asked the male employee, he was really nice, but I was like, hey, I got to ask you, was the lady that you just walked out there, was she afraid of the van that's out there? And that's why she asked for the walk, for the escort. And he's like, yeah, she was. And I was like, really? Wow. I was like, well, that's actually my van. And I was like, okay, I think that's a first. And he's like, oh, it is? Yeah, I didn't know. And he kind of asked me, is that like a common thing, or has that happened before? And I was like, as far as I know, no, that's the first time it's ever happened. So it was really weird. I was like really surprised that it happened. So yeah, she was scared of my van, how it looked. And my van does look really eccentric. Maybe I'll do a whole video on that in the future about how my van just looks really intense. But, that's the way I like it. That's just how I like it. So that was maybe one of the more negative things I've noticed. I was really surprised by that. But other than that, I've just had maybe a lot of stares and stuff. A lot of people kind of giving me in the van like a look like, what's the deal with that? What's going on with that? And it's understandable. When I used to just have a regular sedan or car, and I would park, actually even in my van currently, when I go and park near another vehicle that I think might be kind of shady or kind of sketchy, I'll give them kind of a double take look too, like, is that, somebody that I should be worried about? Should I be worried about my belongings and possessions? So I understand, of course. But I just thought that was kind of funny. Oh, I forgot to mention, the employee said, Yeah, I think she was afraid of all the skulls on your van, which is really funny because I mean, there's literally one skull which I have. It's like a Halloween decoration that's on my driver window, on the driver's side window, and I should say the front driver side window. And yeah, so that's, I mean, that's really the main skull. I don't think there's even any others. So I thought that was amusing. Bless her heart, though. I regret that she was that freaked out by my van. She had to get an escort. But anyway, so let me show y'all some of the cool little notes I've gotten and stuff, and you guys can just kind of laugh with me about how fun that is. And maybe you guys will think it's really amusing, endearing, charming, like I do. And one other thing I almost forgot to mention, I when I give the full van tour, I'll show y'all. But ever since I first had my, OG minivan, which was Susie, it was my, little Nissan Quest minivan. I loved it. And I would go to the Goodwill outlet, like I've done a whole video now that you guys better go watch if you haven't seen it yet. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Anyway, I would go there and dig through all the bins, like I love to do. And I actually found this little bitty mailbox, a tiny little mailbox. And I was like, man, this is so cool. And I remember asking Chloe, should I put this on Susie? And she was like, you're crazy. That's going to look so crazy. And I was like, well, I should though, right? I mean, it'd be fun. And I actually never did. I ended up, I think she just we joked about it and she kind of changed my mind, and her saying like, that's going to look too crazy. I was like, oh yeah. And I put it back because I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And so then the crazy, interesting, funny, coincidental thing is a couple months ago, I found a new one. Exactly the same, a little toy mailbox. I don't know what you call it. It's metal. And I actually told Chloe, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get this one this time because I do want to put a little mailbox on my van. And I swear it was right after that I started getting all these notes. Here's the crazy part. I haven't even put the note on Soji yet. So it's weird. And so we actually joked around about that later. Like, well, it's a good thing you got the mailbox because now you can actually put it on Soji. And there you go. You have a cute little slot for people to put little notes and stuff because, it's probably kind of freaky to come up to this van that looks apparently very scary and intimidating and leave a note. It might give some people pause, but now there's literally going to be a little mailbox that they can leave their notes in. So anyway, wanted to point that out. That'll be on the full van tour. I actually haven't put it up yet. Haven't put it on yet, but I'm going to put it on before the full van tour and y'all can see. That'll be fun. Anyway, let's get to these little notes and I'll show y'all these really awesome positive messages that I've gotten. So this first one is kind of ominous. I'm not going to lie. That could be interpreted as friendly, like, hey, what's up, buddy? I wish I had the time to do what you're doing. Or it could be like attitude, like, I wish I had the time. Or, I mean, I guess there's a third option. It could be like sinister, like, wish I had the time. You really just don't know what they meant. No name or anything, so I can't do a shout out. And, the handwriting kind of fits the voice I just did, so I had to poke some fun at it. But thanks for the note, assuming you meant it in a nice way. So shout out to Jay. You left this on my ladder. Thanks for the note. And that's awesome. You're someone who's wanting to start your journey in van life. And I think that's awesome. I love to inspire others, of course, to start on this amazing lifestyle. So yeah, if you ever have any questions, feel free to ask me. And, hopefully you get a lot of your information from my channel and the other YouTube channels out there about van life as well, of course. And this last one, shout out to Christopher. You'd actually left me this note on my windshield, and I read it, and actually wrote you a reply note, and went to leave it on your van. And you actually had come out, and we had a cool little conversation. And yeah, it was nice to meet you, buddy. And I did see you subscribed and left me a comment, I think, on my last videos. So thanks for that as well. But yeah, man, always a pleasure to get a friendly note from a fellow van lifer, in this case, a part-time van lifer anyway. So yeah. That's pretty much what I wanted to share with you guys in this video is how there are these extreme opposition views on our van lives. Some people see it and they're like, this is the most awesome thing I've ever seen. Oh my God, I wish I could be doing that. We literally had a cop one time come up to us, drive up to us. This is back in St. Louis also. This is actually, again, before we met Coda. And random cop, he drives by and we're like, is he going to mess with us? But we're not doing anything wrong. We were parked very temporarily with both of our side doors open of our minivans, chatting and just, I can't remember what we were about to do next. And this cop drives by and he slows down and he looks over and he opens his window and we're like, yeah, what's up, man? And he just starts asking us some questions like, oh, are you guys like traveling? This is so cool. And we're like, yeah. And then, he goes, oh, just so you know, you're not in any kind of trouble. I'm not trying to officially ask you any questions. This is actually, I just think it's really cool. And I just wanted to chat with y'all. And, we're kind of thinking, is it really that? Cops are literally taught that it's okay to lie, as long as it's not about the law, but they're allowed to lie to try to get information and stuff. So we're just kind of like, why is he asking us this? But he was really nice. And we, had a whole friendly conversation. And the doubt we might have had of his intentions was completely negated and eradicated. When he drives away, not 10 minutes later, he comes back and he opens his window again. And we're like, hey, and he holds out these two cards, like it looks like two little like credit cards. And we run up to him. We're like, hey, and we grab him. He's like, here, happy travels, man. Like I've always wanted to do this. So I got y'all these. And it's these two gift cards to like a Circle K, that was nearby. And we were so blown away. We're like, wow, thanks, man. Like, that's so crazy. He's just a cool dude, a cool human, that maybe dreams about leaving it all behind and just grabbing a van or an RV and being like, I'm going to hit the road and I'm going to travel. And, I can't say I blame him. I fully understand. It is awesome. I would be wanting to do the same thing if I wasn't doing it. So, he bought us some gift cards and that was just so nice. That was before I made the YouTube channel that y'all are watching right now. So I doubt he'll ever see this video, but if he were to see it, I appreciate it, man, again. But and so that was a little sampling of some story time for y'all, which I'm going to be making full videos on story time in the future. That's just a little hors d'oeuvre so you can get a taste. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. Wanted to share all these kind of experiences with y'all of people that are ranging from terrified and judgmental about my van and our vehicles and our van lives, to, the most awesome people we've met that are just so friendly or are wanting to start doing van life or just wanting to pick our brains and stuff. So it's just really cool. But anyway, thanks for staying this long if you did. I love that you guys hopefully are enjoying the material and I'm enjoying making it. So feel free to always come again, leave a comment and like and subscribe. Click the bell, get the notifications. But anyway, I'm going to stop rambling as I tend to do. Of course, I will say, do no harm, always do good, and never stop thinking for yourself. And until next time, I'll see y'all. Be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.